Let's now talk about the Agile 4 values, the 4 values of Agile. Agile has 4 values, and these values were stated in the meeting that was held in 2001. These 4 values have some type of favor of 4 things over other 4 things. The things, or the first things that we'll talk about, are more important than the other things that should have less priority or less time invested in them inside our organization. So let's begin by the first principle or the first value in order to understand this in a better way. The first value states that individuals and interactions over processes and tools. He means that individuals and interactions are more important than processes and tools. So the relationship between us as team members, the relationship between developers, testers, product owners, and scrum masters is more important than the process that we have inside our company or the tools that we are using. If we think of this value from a testing perspective, okay, the process or the tool, we may have a testing process, or we may have a tool, a test management tool to write our test cases on it, or a defect management tool to write our defect reports on it and send them to the developers. And these defects have a type of process that is used in them. So Agile says that this is not the most important thing. The more important is the relationship between the testers and each other, and the relationship between testers and developers. If this tool will become a type of burden between developers and testers, don't use it, or use it in a different way. But don't think of the tool in a way that makes it very important. No, the interactions between the team members and the relationship between them is more important than your process or the tools that are used inside your company. So this is the first value. The second value says working software over comprehensive documentation. So in any project in software lifecycle, we begin by writing the user requirements or the SRS, the software requirements specification, and we sign it with the user so that we make sure that these are the things that we agree on. Agile says the most important thing is that we have a piece of working software. So what is more important? For example, writing some requirements and showing them to the customer so that he gives us feedback on them, or having a small version of the software or a small prototype that has some working functionalities. Agile says that the more important is that we have a working software. For example, for the developer, is it more important that he draws some entity relationship diagrams or some use cases, or he writes some code that will give value to the customers, that will give us a working software? The more important is that we have a working software. So here, working software is more important than comprehensive documentation. Then we have customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So the relationship between us, the team, and the customer is more important than the contract that we have with him. So for example, if we have a contract with the customer that states that he should have 10 functionalities, and we agreed on these functionalities only, and the customer told us, okay, I need to change some of these functionalities. I need to remove this one and add another one better than it, or something like this. In this case, we should not say, no, you have a contract, we have a contract, we agreed at the beginning, and we cannot change anything. We cannot change the functionalities, we cannot change the scope of the project, we cannot change the deadline or the release date. No, Agile says the more important is that you have customer collaboration. You must collaborate with the customer and try to make sure that he is satisfied with the software that he gets. Then the fourth principle is responding to change over following a plan. In traditional software or traditional projects, we have a rigid plan. We have a plan, and we must conform to this plan. We must do everything that is stated in the plan, whether it is a project plan, whether it is a testing plan. If we are talking about testers, we must do what is written in the plan. In Agile, he says, no, following a plan is not the most important thing. The more important than following a plan is responding to change. So change happens a lot in Agile projects. We have iterations, we have many releases inside our project. So in this case, if a change happens, we welcome it, we say, okay, we will use this change for our favor. Whether it is an internal change between the team, whether it is an external change from the stakeholders, or something that is related to the market. For example, our competitor has a new campaign and that will have some effect on us. So in this case, we must change the plan. So in Agile projects, the plan is very flexible. We can change it, we can adjust it depending on the scope and our goals, which is one of them is customer collaboration, okay? So these are the 4 values of Agile in a simple way. So let's review them. Like we said, individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and responding to change over following a plan. So some of you might think, okay, we think that the things on the right hand are important. Yes, individuals and interactions are important, but processes, tools, documentation, contracts, plans are important, right? Yes, this is right. Agile does not say that we should remove all these things that are on the right hand. No, it says that if there is a contradiction between the things on the left hand and the things on the right hand, we will favor the things on the left hand, okay? If we have to choose between them, we choose the things on the left hand. When we are dividing our tasks or allocating our time, in this case, we can say 80% of our time is spent in the things on the left hand and 20% of our time is spent in the things on the right hand, which is the Pareto principle. So like he says, the Agile Manifesto argues that although the concepts on the right hand have value, those on the left hand have greater value. So both of them have value, but this depends on the amount of value for each one of them. So these are the core values of Agile. If we consider Agile as a pyramid, so the values are the base of this pyramid, okay? Then we have the principles of Agile, which are stated also inside the Agile Manifesto that was written in 2001. So the principles are above the 4 values. We have 12 principles of Agile, and we will talk about them in the next video.